We will look at this topic starting with diving into the story of Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen, two recent divorcees. That's the word, right?
I
Divorcees.
th-
It sounds
it's
great. Maybe
it's
I'm making up English words while I go, but um,
yeah.
please, guys, put in the comment if it's a real word. I think it is, but anyway, we're gonna dive into their story. They divorced. They are a couple worth about 733 million. So the question is, who's getting what? We're talking about a lot of money around here. It's a Then we're going to dive into other YouTube videos, people who talk about prenup, how they feel about it, what is the right way to do it? Is it the wrong way? Is it something bad? Is it something good? That's basically what the show is going to be about. But before we start about everything, we're going to talk about prenup. We're going to dive a bit into the Tom and Giselle story. Gonna recap the year of 2022 for you. The year began quite shocking, to say the least, as Tom Brady, who has been playing for in the NFL, the National Football League, for 22 years, he has amassed amounts of accolades, records, 7 Super Bowls with the Pats, New England Pats. For those who don't know, my team. So I know this guy close. He's my buddy. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, and he also has one with the Bucks after he left us. He broke
Good
it
for
up.
him. Good for him.
We might need to dive into that later in this show, but he left the Bucks, amassed also got an extra ring, which is quite amazing for someone his age because he's pretty old for his age in the NFL. People don't make it that long on on a high level. Usually they around their age they are in a I'm not gonna
They
say
get dragged out. They get dragged out. Yeah,
they get
yeah, yeah, yeah,
carried out
yeah.
on a stretcher.
Yeah.
But he's still performing last season, but he didn't make the playoffs or he didn't make it deep into the playoffs. And then it was announced on the 1st of February that Tom was officially going to retire from the NFL. Officially, after 22 years. Tom, everyone was basically sharing their thoughts on it. The New England Patriots basically bigged them up, saying it was a privilege to draft this guy and develop him, being a part of the legacy he created. I think people might disagree, agree, who really was part of those 7 rings he got at, who was the main actor, let's put it that way, in those 7 rings. I do think it's 50-50 because, well, it's probably 50-50. Let's say for the sake of not creating an argument, but everyone was bigging him up and basically he said, I'm gonna stop, guys. It's been enough. It's been enough. But then, oh, before that, before I said the but then, also Giselle was happy. Giselle was also happy. Giselle was happy that after 15 years that she met him, that he was done with the game. As you can see here, she says, "What a ride, Tom. So many memories. When I met you over 15 years ago, I didn't know the first thing about football. She's Brazilian, so she only knows the football with the foot. She doesn't know the football with the hands.
Yeah, yeah.
But cheering for you and seeing you do what you love most made me learn about this wonderful game to the point that I seriously believed I knew more than the referees. She was a ride or die
She was
during
a
those
ride or die.
times.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
was a
yeah.
real ride or die. Was criticizing everyone, referees to Brady's own teammates. She was wild. She was
Yeah.
wilding sometimes.
Shout out to AB.
Put that shit on. We always had a special champion spirit list for every drive on our way to the game. As a family, we always prayed for you, celebrated and supported you in every game, cheered every win, and suffered with every loss.
Ride or die. That's what you said.
Ride or die. Guys, you gotta understand, when you are playing American football, it takes a lot of time out of your daily life. It's not a 9 to 5 game. It's not like football players, the ones with the foot, where they show up in the morning, train in the morning from 7 to maybe 1 o'clock every day, and then go home and then do it on a daily. Usually, football players start at 5, sometimes at 4,
In the morning.
watching in the morning. At least, let's put it this way, at New England. It's one of the things New England is known for. You start very early. And at a certain point, it was even a competition between him and the head coach. At least that's what was being said. Who will arrive earlier? But you gotta understand. So he would start at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, arrive at the clubhouse, work out, watch film, and go home at 8, 9 o'clock p.m. So those are long days. Imagine what kind of marriage that would be. It really would take a ride or die to stay so long with someone who's devoting his life to the game they love. So it wasn't easy, but I think the caption also tells you that it was a ride. That's what's the first thing she said. It was a ride. So here he announced his retirement. But then 40, 40 days later, 40 days later, he was like, "Psych! I'm back, better than ever." He had a retirement of 40 days, guys. 40 days. The
Sounds
question
like
is, what happened in those 40 days?
sounds like a Bible story.
It sounds like a Bible story happening in slow motion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Savior is here.
The Savior is back. What did you do? You guys thought I was gone? No, I'm here. Everyone was dancing on his grave, and he was like, "I'm not gonna let this happen. Not on my watch. Even if I have to crash dummy this relationship, crash this relationship." But So basically, he uh, he announced his unretirement, saying that he will be back for the 23rd season in Tampa Bay. In Tampa Bay, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. As a wife, you might have your thoughts about this, but at the end, it's Tom's life. He had to make a choice. Giselle was ecstatic about him basically coming back. RJ, what do you think about him realizing? Do you think actually that he might have realized some things during that retirement? Those 40 days? What went through his mind?
That's a very good question. And of course, it's all speculations. But what I recall is when how it all went down. I recall how it all went down. It wasn't Brady who broke the news that he would retire. Remember that? It was a
Yes,
reporter.
it was a reporter, yeah.
It was a reporter who said breaking news. Sources close to the Brady family.
Grady team or Grady family, yeah, something
Brady
like that, yeah.
family announced that Tom Brady would retire this season. And I believe, and I remember it was like 2 or 3 days that the reporters were like, the reporters and journalists were mad because they said, yeah, you took away a decision of his. I still believe, but that's just me, seeing as how he's someone who likes playing on his own terms. I believe that if he had gotten the opportunity to retire on his terms, that he wouldn't have come back. I might be wrong about this one, but this is what I truly believe. Because they took away something that's very important to him. You want to go out on your own terms. So who knows, KR? Maybe he was feeling like he didn't have like he didn't have control over his life, that people were deciding things for him. He was feeling like that already because of the way the whole announcement went down.
Hmm.
And he said, you know what? I'm gonna go for another 40 days, another season.
Another
I had
season. Another.
40, I had 40, yeah. I talked about it with my ride or die wife. I shared the importance. I shared what it means to me to get back on the field and to keep winning. And he said, you know what? After 40 days, he was determined to get back. LFG. Let's
Yeah, that's
go.
his statement. Let's go. Let's beep beep go. That sounds like a Cinderella story, RJ. That's I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Could it be? It sounds great. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. Could it also be that in those 40 days, he realized that this marriage was over,
It's
and
also a
that
possibility.
and that maybe it's not worth staying unretired, and just because, guys, football is a very heavy sport. If you see what happens to these guys after their career, it's something that they are sacrificing their bodies for their families. So these are devoted guys. But could it be that he just realized, you know what? This is the end for the relationship. So I might as well leave it all on the field. Is that a
Perhaps.
possibility?
Definitely a possibility. And I can imagine he was thinking to himself, okay, I know for certain I want to die on a battlefield. Which one? I just need to pick out which one would be worth it. And then he said, well, I'm going to the NFL.